Yeah, hi everyone, welcome to Emsley Lodge for another week. Bit of a week of close but no cigar this week. Geez, a couple of horses raced really well. Humzz took him to town the other day and ran him on a Saturday in town. He sort of just got nailed late. So we took a little horse called Mr Mofeed all the way to Narracourt, and he just sort of got held up in a bit of traffic and did a bit wrong, and he sort of run second as well. Aluf, he ran an absolute blinding race in a 9:55 at the Valley. He just he just got there too early. He sort of hit the front at the top of the straight, and those 9:55 races, they just go like cut cats and just sets it up for horses out the back all the time. And he sort of just got there way too early, and then they just swooped him over the top of him and sort of beat him. He only got beaten a length and a half, I suppose. So he's going really well. Just a little bit frustrating at the moment. I don't think we can get these horses going any better. They look fantastic. They're all sound. They're trying their guts out. They're just falling that little bit short, but anyway, all you can do is turn them out at the races. This week, now we're probably going to be pretty busy this week. I'm going to head off today with Honey Wine. He was actually scratched the other day. He kicked the back of the barriers, and protocol is if you kick the back of the barriers, they scratch you. So unfortunately, he got scratched. So he goes to Seymour today, and he'll go really well. It's just a bit of a tricky race. So I've brought him back to the 1200 metres to sort of run him in races where they'll run along, and he can sit back and get home. And it doesn't look to be a lot of speed. So just going to need a good ride from our jockey. He's got 62 kilos, so there's plenty of pudding, but he'll get his chance, I suppose, but he's going really well. We'll then head off to Moonee Valley on Friday night. Now, I've got a couple of horses in there. Humzz, I'm contemplating backing him up. He went enormous at Mornington the other day and wasn't beaten very far. And there's a lovely little 9:55 race which should just suit him. He's drawn a lovely gate. So if his blood count comes back okay in the morning and he's bucking his brands off, I might even back him up, and he gets every chance. He's going really well, that horse. Young Hostess, she won well the other day over 2800. She goes up to the 3000 metres, and she seems to be pretty good. She's really hard horse to get a line on because the track work's very poor, and she never sort of works any good at all, but you just take it on board that she's going to try her guts out, so she'll bounce and be in the first couple and get every chance there at the Valley. We've also got at Kyneton on Friday, Fortune Rose. Now, she's been a little bit disappointing, so we've got Jamie Mott back on her, drop her back to the Fillies and Mares 58 grade, and we'll see how we go back at Kyneton. Track work is fantastic, and there won't be a horse presented anywhere better in Australia on Friday than her, and she just looks fantastic. So she just unfortunately needs to turn her form around. She's just a mare in the spring that just might not be firing, but I can't fault her track work, and I expect her. I'm going to the races with full expectation that she'll run a great race, but her form reads poor and she needs to turn it around.
G'day guys, welcome to Around the Stables. This week's horse is a lovely street cry gelding called Gambeson. He won first up last prep. He won quite nicely, and he's just come back. He's been back in work about 6 weeks now, so he'll trial in about a week's time and then probably race in a couple of weeks after that. But probably, and then sort of after that first up win, probably just a bit of a training error, just probably overtrained him a bit. But this time in, we're just going to keep him nice and fresh and feeling well. As you can probably see him walking around the place, he's nice and bright and well and feeling good. So that's I think that'll be the key with him, is have him fresh. There's certainly the abilities there with this horse. It's just taking to the races and getting the most out of him.
Okay, that's it for the footy season, and it's all about racing. Turnbull Stakes Day this week, and it's all about the Spring Carnival. So, and by the way, well done to all the Richmond supporters, and go the Kangas for next year. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a guest tipster every week now for the rest of the spring. Everybody follows Pete's tips all through the year, and Pete will continue to do his tips, but thought we'd get a little guest tipster in every week, and just over the Spring Carnival, and see if we can't hedge us all into a good couple of winners. So our number one tipster for the year, who is the absolute expert on everything and racing, and he thinks he's an expert on actually just about everything, is Stephen Sells. So here's Sellsy for this week's tips.
G'day viewers. Well, here I am back again after 4 years, would you believe, of self-imposed exile. I'm still scarred from what's occurred with Rob and the bloopers that he sent out. I was set up all along, so but it's taken me 4 years to get over it, and I'm at Homestead Lane at the amazing Emsley Lodge, magnificent property. Casting my eyes over some future stars and champions of the turf. and given Jamie a little bit of astute judgment and knowledge on his thoroughbred stock. But asked to tip again, and this weekend, spring is in the air, magnificent day. I'm liking Trap for Fools in the Turnbull Stakes. His record at the track is amazing. I just reckon his last run is a bit of a get-on each way. I know it's a hot field, but I'm settling for Trap for Fools at odds. It's easy to pick the shorties, isn't it? But sometimes you've got to put yourself out there. The other one, Sunshiny, as I said, picture perfect. The best horse in the race in the Gilgai Stakes is Sunlight, in my opinion, and I'll have Sunlight to win, going away from the rest of the field. That's all from me now, and maybe I'll get a call back again if there's not too many bloopers or takes on this one. But I just happened to be Johnny on the spot, I suppose, and they got a bit desperate. But it's good to be back, and thanks for having me, guys.
That's it for another week at Emsley Lodge. Thanks for watching. Horses are going good, aren't they? They're just sort of not been a bit stiff lately, just not putting their head in front. But we're having twice as many seconds as we are winners. It's a bit frustrating, but really good that we've got a lot of horses competitive and they're racing in town during the spring carnivals. That's always a good thing. The Buxton Real Estate Thoroughbred Club of Geelong Racehorse of the Year Awards are just about full. I don't think there's a lot of seats left, so if you do want to come, by all means contact Rob or Janet and we'll make room for you, but I think it's just about sold out. Really, really good night there, and Dave O'Neill's the entertainment, so he's always a good value. What else we got? Turnbull Stakes Day is this week, the big race. I think the spring really sort of gets into wine this week, doesn't it, with the Turnbull Stakes Day, and this is an absolute ripping meeting this weekend. Just keep an eye on a horse called Debt Agent. A good mate of mine, Cliff Brown, trained this horse, and he used to be called Debt Collector over in Singapore, and he was as good a horse as you get coming out of Singapore, and he's back over here, and Jim Conlon's training him now, and just keep an eye on him because I think he's a very, very good horse. He'll get a long way back and be finishing off, but he certainly might be a little horse to follow during the spring. What else? We got a couple of horses going pretty good, and hopefully they'll a couple of them will trial next week. Prince Ziggy will probably trial next week, and I think Phil the Flute can just about win her next start. Last couple of starts she's been a bit of a victim of being taken on in front, but if I can just find the right race for her, she's going really well, that filly. So just need to get a tempo of the race that suits her. But really keen on the spring, and no doubt we'll get a couple of winners in the next couple of weeks. Until next week, see you later. Just keep an eye on a horse called, and I'll get it, I've got it on my phone. It's called, hang on, I'll start again there.